Hey, it's great having everybody here for OK Movie Stream. And today, our guest, we got like a 2-for-1. It's really cool because it is a mother-son team of Nicole and J.J. Miller. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Thank you for having us.
I like your glasses.
Thank you.
Are those new?
No.
No? Are those your signature glasses you wear when you perform? You have other movie glasses? Oh, cool. What are they like? How are they different?
They are black, like all black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's trying a new look. Aren't you trying a new look?
So, Nicole, we met because she was in our movie W.W.J.R. That was the first time. And then she became one of the women that are part of Heaven's Date, the group. And that was like crazy because whenever the camera wasn't rolling, you guys were like nonstop.
It was we had too much fun.
Yeah.
I think that was illegal, how much fun we had on set.
Yeah, we did.
You weren't even there, silly.
Yes, I
Just
Well, this is a different one.
in different shoots.
And you
yeah.
were talking about WWJR when you were there
And
for the church scenes.
and in Heaven's Date, he was in a different scene.
Oh yeah, that one
Yeah.
I remember. That was fun because you did dancing. You
Remember when you
danced
danced?
with the balloons and stuff, and that was a lot of fun. You're right. I forgot. And you got a big cookie.
It was really good.
Yeah.
That cookie was so good.
So Nicole, you where'd you grow up?
I grew up here in Tulsa.
Okay.
Just never left.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
You too?
Yes, yeah. So, now it's harder to leave when you have so much family in one place.
Right. And where did you go to school?
I went to Oral Roberts University for college, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, both.
I'm a Nathan Hale Ranger alumni.
There's a lot of Nathan Hale heritage, right? What's the heritage behind Nathan Hale?
I don't know. I really don't.
That's okay. But it's been a school that's been here for
it's been here a while.
long
There's
time.
a lot of alumni doing great things all over. But
Yeah.
so I'm proud.
What was Nicole like in high school?
I imagine this. I was in the drama department a lot. Hey, come on.
He's taking a break.
You need a break? Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
But you'll come
We're
back.
going to call you back in
You'll
a little
come
bit.
back, right? You'll be fine. Just, we thought we'd try this out.
Well,
We're figuring it out.
it's still working, kind of. We can still hear him probably talking.
Yeah.
Over there.
Just don't say anything.
Yeah, don't
'cause
grab the camera. and
That
stuff.
microphone will pick it up. I did drama in high school. It wasn't every year for me. I did some community theater, and high school was when I first got my my first agent.
Oh wow.
I went with an agency that it turned out to be a big scam.
Uh oh. Yeah, you got to watch for those. And they always tell you that if they charge you,
Yeah.
it's probably not like.
I doubt we had money to pay. It's just, and I was such a young actor. I'm trying to remember everything about it, but maybe it was just the projects they did ended up being a scam, but it's not around anymore, the
okay.
agency.
Okay. I gotcha.
But I did, a couple commercials and stuff. At that time, I really wanted to be either an actor or a teacher. And I had a teacher at the time who was like, "Don't be an actor."
Oh,
Like,
really? Had they tried it?
I don't know. But I guess they were just like, "There's no money, you'll struggle." So I went for a teaching certificate. And I figured, one day I would be able to move to California and substitute teach. And then when I didn't have any acting things, I could fall back on teaching. And lo and behold, I didn't have to move to California.
Right.
Because growing up, that's kind of what happened here in Oklahoma. When I was younger, there wasn't nearly as many movies
Stuff
here.
going on, yeah.
It was just commercials and stuff.
What made you decide to go to ORU?
They had a program. It's no longer. It's called Communication Arts Education, and through that program, I was able to be certified to teach speech, drama, and debate.
Oh, wow.
It was like very, it was education and theater and acting, and it was everything all rolled into one. And so, yeah, after I graduated, I think they were like, there's no way we can get someone this good again. And they just shut down that program.
That was it. Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
could
sure.
get that. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I see that.
But when you go through a program like that, then you get certified with the state to be a teacher. So I did that for a while.
Nice. And what was going to ORU like?
At that time,
It was a little
I mean,
stricter?
there's a lot of things happening with that university. And at that time, when you say strict, I think that might be an understatement. There were chapels that were mandatory, and the dress code was very, very strict. I had to wear pantyhose.
Oh, really?
Pantyhose were mandatory, but I was a rebel. And there were some times like I was like, I don't know if they can tell if I'm wearing pantyhose or not. Yeah, I did that. I wore you had to wear skirts because I was a girl. I don't know about the boys. I think they had to have a tie, but honestly, I didn't pay close attention to their thing. I did not stay on campus. If I had, I know there'd be a lot more, but I do recall there's 2 other requirements that are a little bit different. And I really didn't do my research. I looked at maybe 2 universities, so I didn't know what I was doing was so different, but you have to pass a swim test.
Really?
Or you don't graduate.
Wow.
And after graduating, I was like, what? That's no big deal, right? Nobody else does that.
No.
But they just throw you in this pool and hope you don't drown.
How far did you have to swim?
Well, you don't. You don't swim. They put you in the deepest water ever.
Uh-huh.
And then you have to just tread water. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And they put a timer, and it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is exhausting. And there were so many close calls because people just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
treading water is basically making propels of your arms and legs, propellers. That's how you stay afloat.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah, I know. When I watched the Olympics one year, I thought, man, that water polo looks
Yeah.
pretty cool, I'd love to try that. And then I found out that the whole pool is 12 foot deep or something like that.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I'm used to just being in a regular pool where I can put my feet on the ground every once in a while and get a break. You can't get a break.
I'd need swimmies, to be able to do that. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to see if you could handle, mass baptisms or
I
something.
don't know. Actually, I do know the story is Oral Roberts, I think, brother drowned because he didn't know how to swim.
Oh,
And so I guess he's trying to save the world.
Instead of having them take swim class, it's we just pass the test at the end.
I think that was the point. The point was if you don't think you can pass this class, then you need to do a swim class. And actually, every semester you're enrolled full time, you're required to do a health and physical education class. And
okay.
that's something I thought all the colleges had, but I guess not.
No. I didn't.
It might be just creative aerobics was something I had to do once.
I took golf and bowling.
Oh, see, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. And I had bowling. I love bowling. I did tennis.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it ended up being fun stuff that helps me enjoy life. But at the time, I had no idea. This was a weird school.
When you said that you had to be able to swim, it made
Yeah.
me think about what's that show on Max?
That's a Libby question.
Yeah. You know what I'm
Well,
talking about.
give any kind of description about it.
Okay, is it HBO Max?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I'm still not
it's
used to
Max
calling it
with,
just Max.
Yeah, it's Max with and it has the family that they're they have a big a big
You mean
church.
the Righteous Gemstones?
The Righteous Gemstones.
Okay, I
yeah.
haven't seen it yet.
And it's I think it's the first episode of the second season or something, and they're in a wave pool, but it's been turned off because of they're doing these mass baptisms in China or India or something, and somebody turns on the pool. And
Oh no!
all
During
of
the
a-
baptism.
yeah, and all of a sudden everybody's like they can't, like they're off the Titanic or something.
See, I don't think anyone thought to do that as like their senior prank at ORU, like put in a wave machine during the treading water thing.
It's a pretty funny scene.
Oh, that's cool. The one thing about the HPE classes were we were graded on our body fat.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this was old school, you guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
They don't do this anymore. And I just have to, I have to talk about it sometimes because I'm like, did this really happen? They
Yeah.
would pinch your back fat. I'm sorry. This is really something they do.
Why isn't this in your comedy?
I'm still traumatized.
Yeah,
And my
seriously.
brother failed because he was too skinny.
Oh,
And there
wow.
you had to be like not too much fat and not too little fat, and it was part of your grade. And the final of whatever fitness class, whether it was bowling or tennis or creative aerobics and something water aerobics, you had to do a 3-mile field test.
To graduate?
Well, to like pass the class, and that was your
Oh,
final, and you would get graded on it. Like maybe you didn't do great, but that was part of your grade. And it turns out if we'll just say, hypothetically speaking, if somebody failed their PE class one semester, they would have to do 2 the second semester because they failed. They have to make up, and then maybe perhaps that meant 2 field tests on the same day.
ORU is gonna come for us.
Well, all
that
of
was
this
back
has
in
been
the day.
changed.
That's
All
what I
of this
mean.
has been changed, and they're like, I did talk to a student who's way younger than me, and I think she said it was like a 1-mile test now, so they're still doing it. But that when I said, "Oh, are they grading you on your body fat?" she looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what are you talking about, old lady?
I'm sure there's other schools out there that probably has done that, but that's
Intense.
Quite the education.
Yeah.
Yeah, all it taught me was to, I don't know, hate my body. I don't know.
Of course, when I was in grade school, they still did paddlings and
Oh yeah.
and all of that.
No, that
so,
was still happening
yeah,
in Oklahoma.
yeah. I only got, I think, once because Coach Green blew the whistle for us to come in for PE, and I still continued playing catch, and he was like, Fernandez, in my office, and I thought I was being funny, like the first one wasn't so hard. I said, Coach, you should have played baseball, and because I knew all my friends were listening, so I was cracking some jokes to keep from, crying, and then he did it again, and so it was like, so that was like my only. There was even a teacher that would take a ruler and slap your hand,
Oh my heavens.
so talking about some crazy
Yeah.
old school kinds
Technically,
of things.
it's not illegal in Oklahoma.
Really?
It's not illegal.
Well, I guess you're a
and
teacher. You would know.
It's not illegal, but you would have to look at the school's policies, I think.
How many
That's
times
my
do you have to
understanding.
pull yourself back behind the desk and not run after
Oh
somebody?
no, yeah, that's not me. That's not me. I'm just like,
I know. I'm just
honestly, when I taught full time, it was just like, okay, do you want detention today or tomorrow? I just didn't even.
when you taught,
Mess with it.
when you were seeking becoming a teacher, was there someone else other than the one teacher you had that inspired? Were you inspired to teach, or was it just a job thing? You thought that, well, let me take this job.
Well, when I was in math class, and I don't remember which level, whatever I was learning junior year, it wouldn't have been geometry, maybe like algebra 2 or something. The teacher had all the kids teach a unit to the class. Now I know it's because she wanted a break of teaching. But I had so much fun coming up with, how am I going to teach this unit? And I ended up learning it so much better than anything else. I was like, I really like teaching because now I'm learning and I really get to learn it really in depth. And I said, but I can't teach math all day.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not really fun, but I really loved theater and acting. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to teach theater, but also be an actor was kind of like the plan.
See, I thought I always thought I wanted to teach someday, but not high school because they're just in there. Sometimes they're not there because they want to, like in college, like they're
Right.
pursuing. And I didn't know if I could handle that kind of craziness. What is it like, and how did you work with it?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you're teaching high school, I guess you can just tell all the kids to teach a unit for you, and then you don't even have to do it. I taught seventh grade
Okay.
most of the time,
So they're more interested.
so not really,
No.
not really at all. Actually, that is the problem when you're doing an elective. Like everyone has to do an elective, but not everybody wants that particular elective. But their elective hour was fourth hour, so they're stuck in drama, which is very difficult. So how I managed it was I made sure just when I was working with, I guess I can say, Union Public Schools, they were really open to like what would we want to teach. And so I made sure we had like a class where it's just for the kids who want to be there. In fact, I think it ended up not being a class, but I ended up directing, like, let's do a musical. So
Nice.
all day long I'm with kids. Half want to be there, half don't. But at the musical, everyone wants to be there.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
started the all middle school musical, and they're still doing it.
Oh, cool.
Without me, and it's great. It's
Nice.
awesome. It's
That
like
is awesome.
I started something.
Did this was always a question I had. I don't think I ever asked a teacher this before, but in seventh grade might have been too late. When you get all those cheap Christmas gifts, do you take them home, or do you throw them away? Because like there was always the pressure. You got to buy it. You got to get the kids. I'm going to give my teacher. And they, I don't want to spend $50 on your teacher. Especially-
Right.
I had 4 kids, and what do you do with them?
Well, a lot of times it would just be like homemade goods.
Yeah.
So I'd have to really think about like the kid. Do I trust this kid's home life? Like, do I just throw this away or eat it or take it home and share it with my family or give it to the in-laws? No. But I do feel like a lot of Christmas mugs ended up being like pin holders in my office. Yeah, I think at the middle school, since they ended up having like 7 teachers. It wasn't like an overabundance, but I mean, at the elementary, if you just have like 30 kids
Right.
and you're their only teacher, I feel like you probably get more.
Candles.
Yeah, I don't know.
So-
Nowadays, they send out like, this is what your teacher likes.
Oh, really?
So I try to give my kids' teacher like a Starbucks gift card if that's on the list and stuff.
Wow.
Just,
Tea.
I feel like they deserve it. They've
Yeah.
been spending a lot of time with my kid.
So, when you were doing teaching, were you the funny teacher? Or did everybody like you? Were you had good ratings?
The kids, sometimes they just didn't know I was making a joke. They really didn't. And then if I did,
my kids still don't act that way.
they just kind of look at you like, what? But and if it was funny and they did laugh, a lot of times it was just hard to get back on track.
Gotcha.
So I just had to try to be serious
Be
all day,
serious,
which
Nicole.
was really hard.
Where did you and how did you get the bug to want to do stand-up comedy? Because I always think of stand-up, that's like one of the scary, everybody says, talking in front of public. To me, it's kind of like standing in front of a bunch of people naked and hoping they like what they see, because it's really like you have to share so much of you that you hope you find a bond. And I tell my musician friends that it's different than playing a song, because you can play the Eagles and people will think, God, you're so awesome. But if you do, stand up from another comedian, then you're horrible. Nobody says, hey, do some Robin Williams,
Right. Man, I just always liked making people laugh. I
Yeah.
really did. And it was one of those things where I just kept saying, oh, I can't do that. And then I thought, well, maybe I can. I did a lot of improv first.
Okay.
So I have an improv group and we would perform regularly. And I think people would say like, oh, you should do stand up. And the two worlds are very close.
What'd you like about improv?
It's a lot like theater where you have the show. The rehearsals aren't quite as extensive. Like with a play, you usually rehearse 2 to 3 months, and then you perform maybe 2 to 4 times, and then it's just gone forever. And so with improv, it's like more performances. So I was just always out there getting on stage, performing, making people laugh, and there just wasn't that huge time commitment.
What's the difference between improv and stand-up for you then?
Well, improv, you really are making it up as you go, but it is more like theater where you have a character and you have kind of a scene. And stand-up is more like a conversation between you and the audience.
How did you first start writing bits? How did, because I know unfortunately here in this area until recently, there haven't been a whole lot of comedy clubs. You know, you're in New York or LA, those comedians, they'll hit 4 clubs in a night and they get a real chance to, to work out their material. Whereas here, there are more, but it's still like you get to do a show a week or a month or every other month. And
Yeah.
so how did you approach your friends, your family?
Well, I did write on my own, and then there was an open mic at a bar here. So I started going to that. I didn't perform, but I was thinking about it. And something about like the first of the year, I remember it was right after, a new year. I just, went for it, and I was just real excited, and everyone laughed, and I was way over prepared. Like,
what was like the
completely
first
memorized.
bit you ever did? Do you remember?
It was
Or what it was about?
making fun of. I was just like most Oklahomans above the age of 13. I am a mom. Just it's kind of a low hit. I haven't said that in a long time. I'll have to look. I did videotape it. I just
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to watch.
And when you get an open mic, sometimes it can be kind of encouraging. I can do
yeah,
I can do better than that.
Yeah, open mics, they're not going to be a show that's not going to be polished material. People are just going to be kind of messing around or trying new things, and there's just no pressure. And even if it is funny, people might not laugh. So it's just it's an open mic is really a rehearsal for yourself. Just you get that practice of saying those words out loud. How do you like it? Because I try not to worry about what the audience thinks because the audience is so distracted.
Right. It's hard to, and sometimes, especially in an open mic, because when I would talk to other comedians, I would tell them that we're afraid. It's like, they didn't pay $5 for a drink for you to not be funny. So the fear is of the heckling and
Right.
all that kind of thing. So just go out there and be your funny and then tweak it until it's good for everybody. And I know that I used to, when I first started, had an interest in doing comedy. I found if I went to friends or coworkers and said, "Oh, I wrote this bit, let me tell you," and then I tell them, and then they feel obligated to critique it, So I started changing it to, "Oh, I saw this guy on HBO last night, and here's what he said." And then if they laughed, then I knew I could keep it. And it was, it was my bit, but they thought it was legitimate from somebody that really knew what they were
Then when
doing.
they see you, they're going to be like, he just stole all of his stuff off of HBO.
Yeah, I don't care. They didn't.
They didn't come.
Yeah. What bit did you do that you reached a point because of, I think when we first met, you were more building an act than where you are now, where you have a pretty solid headlining act. Where were you in that point where, because says most people teeter, do I go back to working for a living or do I keep
Yeah.
pursuing this? What bit or show made you change how you were going to look at your future?
I don't know. I don't think it's happened yet. I'm real proud of the special I just shot, so I'm hoping that will open more doors and stuff. But right now I do a lot of teaching.
Yeah.
But there is a strike. So, I yeah, I just I'm not to the point where I can say that like I only do comedy and film, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, I think you will. You've got a lot of talent, and you not only that, but you're also somebody that is easy to work with.
Oh, thank
And
you.
everybody that we've had, it's and that's one of the things we look for when we go after people that we're going to work with, because I like to enjoy my job, and I don't
Right.
want to make it hard or have to argue with anybody. I did have one actress one time that I said, well, I'd really prefer it to be this way. And she goes, well, that's not the way I see it. And I said, well, I talked to the writer, who is me, and he
Right.
wants it, he saw it this way. And I don't like doing those kinds of things, but I just really enjoy it when we try things and we try to get it to the way we envisioned it. And then,
Right.
and then we can try other things. And there was one of the movies where we had a comic too, and he was really great at coming up with adding things
Yeah.
to it, and I had to, but then everybody wanted to add stuff to
Yeah.
it. And I like, no, we'll never be able to cut. Even if this was the funniest stuff in the world, we'd never be able to cut it together, and because nothing matched, and
Right.
so it's something we had to keep in mind as we're working on it.
Yeah, I try whenever I have a script, I try to let's just stick to the script. And then whenever improv and comedy, that's different.
When you were so far, you've worked a lot of comedy, and you've met quite a few comedians that are on the road and doing that as their full-time gig. Is there anyone that you've met that's become a mentor, or that you feel that you've gotten something from that can help you take the next steps?
I actually do have like an official, I call him my mentor. He's a comedian in LA, and he worked on a project called Veggie Tales.
I've heard of that. Yeah, heard it.
And he also, at one point, I don't know if this is still happening, but there's a show on Netflix called One Day at a Time, and he's like their warm-up comedian. And his name is Robert G. Lee. He does a lot of like cruise ships and stuff, and he's always performing. But I just zoom in with him, and he heard my special. Well, he made my special way better than it would have been, because I did that for him and heard his critiquing, and after I cried for 3 hours. No, I'm kidding. No, he made that better. It's just nice to have somebody else's perspective and stuff, and he does give other type of comedy advice.
We did kind of a spin on Veggie Tales, a little treatment cartoon, and Nick and Libby and I wrote the song to it. Nick produced the song to the treatment
Was
we
it
did.
Fruit Stories?
Well, we called it Mob Crops.
Okay.
It's like when good veggies go bad.
Okay.
They become mobsters, and so that's
Oh.
that's the whole thing. Was just kind of like a.
I don't know if my kids can watch that. No, now I need to see it.
It was pretty fun, but yeah, it's good to have someone like that. I think that I had a comedian that he used to own the Comedy Showcase in Houston, and he also had worked in radio, and he was a great guy, because like he would come up to me and say, you're funny, but it takes you too long to get to your
Yeah.
thing, and,
Word economy
Right.
is the phrase.
yeah, and he would say like, I would introduce my uncle that drinks a lot, and he's my mom's, and he said, just say your drunk uncle. Everybody has one. Just say that, and so that he would really help me in the critiquing, and that was a place where I learned too that I thought was really funny. Is, do you ever write with other comedians?
I do have it's like a writing group. Well, we each share our comedy set, or a couple minutes, whatever we worked on that week, and then people give feedback, and sometimes someone will have an idea, like a tag for me or vice versa. And so it's a little bit like that.
Yeah, when I was working in Houston at his club, the comedians would get together and once a week, and we'd kind of do that brainstorm, and as we got to know each other in our acts, we could share stuff with each other, and which I thought the craziest, funniest thing I thought was though that when somebody said something really funny, they wouldn't laugh. They would. That's funny. Are you going to
Yeah,
use that?
yeah.
Because if you're not, I'm going to use it. And he never laughed, but it was just really fun to have those conversations with them, and it was a lot of fun. So now you do shows all over town. You seem
Yeah.
to find a place to utilize your comedy, because how many clubs are in town now?
There's 3 comedy clubs in Tulsa, and then the one in Broken Arrow, I think makes 4 because it's really not far.
Yeah. And then you're still kind of doing like in different bars will have a comedy night here in town, or
Yeah, I just got asked to run. It's the last Thursday of the month at Open Container, and and then I have a family comedy night in Broken Arrow at the Go Laugh. It's the 4th Saturday, so I think it's going well. I mean, as long as
Nice.
people show up, that's the hard part. Let's get the word out. Come on out.
yeah, and that's really like kind of like what we're doing with this and this streaming site that we're creating, because I feel like there's just a lot of talent, really in any state, but here I've gotten to know a lot of the folks, and it's important to us to give them a place that we can market to and say, you got to know Nicole because she's just a funny person, might be your neighbor, and
I might be.
she's hilarious and has a lot of fun. Now, in your life, if you don't mind, we're going to mention you had a medical situation come up in your
Yeah.
life that was pretty earth shattering, I would guess.
Yeah, when I was at ORU, I was having trouble doing my field test and all the other things, and it took them forever to figure out. But I was diagnosed with stage 3B Hodgkin's lymphoma
Oh my!
cancer,
Wow.
and I had surgery to get it removed. Actually, that's how they found out, is they opened me up because I was having trouble breathing and doing stuff. And
And at that age,
Yeah.
that's like not normal at all.
no, they really weren't thinking cancer. They were like, this is definitely allergies. So I had been going to the doctor for over a year, getting all sorts of cough medicines and stuff. And
Yeah.
it just, kept getting worse and worse. And I couldn't breathe. And if they hadn't done that surgery, I don't know what would have happened. But when they did the surgery, they told me that they really should have, like, I think it's a nerve. Yeah, like they should have severed a nerve that would make it so I would never talk again.
Oh my God.
They were like, we really should have, because they felt like that would have been the only way to save me from the lymphoma if it were just lymphoma, but it was Hodgkin's lymphoma, so it was treatable.
Did that change you personally in any way, coming through it and getting through it?
I think it really just opened my eyes to realize just how short of a time we have here. And I've just been a little more intentional in my life. I did spend some time, like maybe even bitter, looking at all these other people who just don't realize how lucky they are to be walking and
Right.
healthy. Like it could be so much worse. So I've tried really hard. I mean, I've wasted a lot of my life. But I've tried to do more meaningful things and, not stick around anywhere that I'm miserable, because it could just be a year. I don't know. That's a little morbid to think about, but honestly, it's just the truth.
Well, I think you've accomplished a lot. You probably touched a lot of lives. I mean, you just, like in the theater group where now they have a musical every year. Think about how many kids you've touched with that, and how out of there probably already is someone that's gone on to do that in a career life, and 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 it had a lot to do with what you had a vision for.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, I'm hopeful that.
And if nothing else, you brought us JJ.
Yeah. No,
Budding
he
star.
is definitely a miracle. They did also tell me, because I was 21, I had chemotherapy. They were like, you will just not have children.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a possibility. And then obviously, like, they told me, like, I could probably die right then. Like, they said the cancer won't kill you, but the way we treat it could possibly kill you.
Yeah.
The chemotherapy, but I didn't die.
That's good.
And then,
And you're being cancer free.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I've had about 3 million cancer scares,
Uh-huh.
but that's only like, I once you go through something like that, you can't just have a cough for 6 months and not go get checked out.
Yeah.
So basically before you have cancer, when you go to the doctor, they rule out all of the easy, small, basic things like allergies. But now that I have this history, it's like immediate cancer screening happens. So that's been my life, is just huge medical bills.
Yeah.
But I'm still here.
Have you seen technology change that you feel is better than when you first got diagnosed?
Honestly, the thing that's changed is the stuff you drink before a CAT scan.
That doesn't taste as bad.
It
it's
tastes any better?
It's got no taste now. It's like drinking water. So I'm glad they listened to all my complaints about that.
Well, that's good. That's good. Now, I know we were lucky enough to get picked to help you with your special and the taping of it. Oh, sorry. It wasn't taped. It was recorded.
Recorded. Yes, the recording.
And they always slap me down for that. And so
I did ask for taping, though. I wanted to show. I wanted actual tape footage. We couldn't find any. And the Blockbuster I went to was closed.
I did go into, what was that store that used to be on Memorial?
Radio Shack.
No, but close. But it was one of the big TV stores.
Best Buy.
Not Best Buy. It was, I don't remember. Anyway, I went in there one time and I asked for a mini DV. And the kid, who was like 20s, man, they don't make those anymore. And I found a whole bunch of them in the store. And then obviously they had them at Walmart. And so
I used to have a Handycam, and it would record directly onto a mini DVD.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere in my house, somewhere I could find like these mini DVDs.
I still have a VHS camera. What are you talking about? And like, I don't know, 5 or 6 boxes of VHS tapes of them from their birth all the way through their life. And then I did move into mini DVs at one point, and I'm trying to convert them all, but it's a lot.
Yeah,
I
it's a
liked
lot.
taking everything.
Yeah, there was a lot of footage there that needed to be edited.
So you talk about in your comedy, and your comedy is geared around being a mom and having a family, and you have 3 children. What are their ages? And
I have a 17-year-old, Isabel, a 13-year-old, Viola, and 7-year-old JJ, whom you've already met.
yeah.
So my oldest just started driving.
Uh-huh.
She has a car and a job. Like, she's at work right now, like
wow.
a young adult.
Wow, that's
And looking at colleges, and so that's going to be a whole other step.
Has she reached the point where you've seen how far she can walk, or pinched her in the back to see?
Make sure she can go to ORU.
No, I don't think she's going to go to ORU.
Okay.
But not because of that.
Right.
Just she's real smart, and she needs a really good, like, we're looking at Ivy League, actually.
Stuff kind of
That's awesome.
challenging.
Just to brag a little.
All right, that's cool. Anyone
East
in particular?
Coast, some East Coast. She actually was like sent something from Harvard.
Wow.
Oh,
Like
man.
they're trying to get her to. I always want to say audition.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's gonna audition for Harvard. I don't know. Apply. In the
What, like it's
application.
hard?
Like it's hard. I wish I remembered the questions.
That's one of your comedy bits.
It's
right?
got to
Yeah.
be. But now to apply for college, the questions they ask are so random.
Really?
Oh, she said she has to answer this question. What is a rule that's unwritten that you wish didn't exist?
Wow.
And there were some other ones there. I was like, what in the world? I remember, well, as for you, so probably nobody else did this. I just remember writing an essay about me. And I don't know.
I went to a big school, and I guess maybe because I finished in the top part of my class and I had really good SAT scores that I didn't have to do an interview or any of that kind of stuff. They just said, "Come on," you know. And we had on one of our baseball teams, we had a guy that went to Harvard, one of the kids, and I was really proud of him. And I like to think that being on our team had a lot to do with.
I bet you
his
that was his
development
essay. His
and
essay was
getting-
all about the team.
Probably. You talk about the kids. You know, what is your favorite topic or part of your act when you're doing that?
I don't know. Maybe the end. Like, just want to get it over with. No, not that. But basically, anytime it's usually, I'm more excited when the audience is reacting and they're like laughing. And when I was taping that special, and I did tape it, you just don't know. It's a hidden tape. There was one thing the audience, I think they applauded and laughed so hard, like it threw me.
Yeah.
But that was, I know it was that was my favorite, even though I was like, I need to consult my notes right now because everything just flew out of my brain because you guys were so loud and crazy. That was my favorite part.
Was it when you said that Lee dated a woman with kids? They got pretty loud and rowdy about that.
I said, like, I wasn't in jail or
Oh, yeah.
for leaving a kid in the
That
back
was a good
seat,
one.
and I feel like they clapped even. Yeah, it just
That
threw
was a
me.
good one.
I think anytime I'm doing stand up, my favorite thing is always the new things.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm just like, I get so bored. After I said that joke once, I'm like, okay, I want to move on. But that's not comedy.
Yeah.
You got to keep saying it like it's the first
Yeah.
time.
He does it so much.
Do what?
Say the same joke.
and I hate
every
it.
And
day.
everybody laughs.
Well, you got to.
Yeah.
But now that I've got this set that I just shot, my special, now I'm working on new stuff.
But here's the difference. I set it up differently every time. I wait for the opportunity and bring it in, you know. But you're working on your new stuff?
Yeah, new stuff. And I just did a show in Alabama.
Wow.
And the poster, I realized, I was like, I'm the white person on the poster. And I was like, I might be at a black show. I don't care. Like, I've done black shows before. And I show up, and I was right. There's like 2 or 3 black people. But what I didn't realize, there's 2 or 3 white people. It was a black show. What I didn't realize is I was going to be following a rap performance.
Oh.
So I wasn't prepared to do this, but I was just kind of inspired in the moment. I think because I drew from my years of improv and just being overly confident, honestly. I was like, I'm just going to tell them about my rap days.
Oh, okay,
There were
good.
no rap days, but they believed it. And I'd shared how my rap name in college was Small White Queso, which was also my Taco Bell order. And then I said, I'm going to do some freestyle rap. And I started horribly. And then I just switched right into the opening to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And they just loved it.
Yeah. I did something similar recently. My stepdaughter's boyfriend's a musician, and he has a lot of musical background, and I was telling him about my days in college and our band, and that we were in like all these contests, and there were several hundred people performing, and then we ended up breaking up because our drummer got upset because he didn't have a solo, and it was really. And then my wife, I don't know why she did this. She says, "You were an air band."
Oh.
It's like, what? Why you ruin it, you know? That was just not very nice. And but we really got into it. And so you talk about two things I like when you talk about Lee that was funny. You talked about his that you're a single mom and he doesn't like that joke. Single
Yeah.
mom of three, and then how he saved you from a bear. You gotta
Right.
love a man that saves you from
I
a bear.
know, and that's a totally true story. It actually happened in June, and we shot this in July.
Right.
So I'm really glad I went on that vacation. That whole vacation, I was like thinking about my order of bits and stuff, and I was like, you know what? Most comedians probably wouldn't do this, but I'm just going to put something new into this special. Why not? Yeah, Lee is my husband, and I do joke about being a single mom, and honestly, he's the best dad ever, and he really does a lot of the work. I will say most of the work sometimes he does that takes over. So that's definitely a joke, but I feel like most moms always have that feeling of like, I'm on my own right now.
It's great to have a spouse that can take a joke.
Yes.
That can see it as part of the routine. You know, I think I told one of the comedians that I've worked with before. He's tours and makes really good money, and I was telling him how my ex-wife didn't like when bits
It's
would
hard.
come up that included her, and he said, well, you just need to tell her you're paying the house payment, you know, and I said, okay, I never really looked at it
I
that
don't know if
way, and I
that's
don't know
gonna
if that's
go.
gonna, yeah.
No, I don't say anything about anybody without talking to them first. And what Lee did say was like, hey, you say anything about me as long as it's making some money.
Yeah.
And he's like, make me a stay-at-home dad. He's all for it. Like if I can make enough income for everybody, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
One day.
That's awesome. Let's see. I mean, what else did I have here? I wanted to talk to you about. See if we can bring JJ back. JJ, you want to come back?
JJ, come back for just 5 minutes.
He's on his way. I think, does he have to stop by makeup and
All right, come on now. You
Talk
can
to
tell
his
him all
agent.
about being an actor and stuff.
So JJ, do the kids at your school know you're a movie star?
Well, now my class knows because I showed them
Just
God's
talk to him.
Country Songs trailer.
Yeah, that was God's Country Song, right? That was the movie that you most recently were in, and people can find that on PureFlix, and that was pretty exciting because not only were you in it, but you got to go to the premiere, right? What was that like?
Cool.
Because it was in Nashville, right? Yeah. And what was your part in the movie, and what did you have to
I
do?
was an adopted kid.
Oh yeah.
Not really adopted.
Yeah.
A country music star finds out he has a child.
Right, and that happens every
So
day.
I don't know if that's adopted. But
And there was one thing you talked about at our premiere when you had the premiere here in town that you said kept interrupting one of the scenes. What happened then? Do you remember that?
No.
There was something that was making a lot of noise outside.
oh yes, do you remember we had to keep cutting, and the director was like, "What's making that noise?
Oh, it's
who's?"
chicken.
What were they doing?
They were going super loud.
They were walking in leaves.
And they're
And then you had to go cut, cut, cut.
yes.
Yeah, and you had to do a lot of takes, huh, because of that. Did you have your own trailer? No.
He had his own room for most of the shoot. Was in a working farmhouse.
Okay.
So one of the back bedrooms was all JJ's,
Nice.
which I would say is better than a trailer.
Yeah, and you'd said that ever since he's done that, he's gotten a lot of looks for other things, right?
Yeah, he's been able to audition for some great stuff. Some big name directors.
He just had a hard day at
It's
school.
just-
That's going on with
Can
him.
you do it for 5 minutes? No. He's like, I'm over this. He
You're
shot
right.
4 commercials last month, and he's done.
Well, we can talk about it. real
He's done.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you about JJ if you want.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
tell you because a lot of times he just doesn't even know.
That's fun that he got to do this. Is this something you think he'll continue to do?
We'll
And you-
see. I think he told me I need a break, and I think he's just he's a kid, so he has a lot of time
Yeah.
to be a kid. Like the movie God's Country Song was just 11 days for
Right.
him, and it wasn't in a row. So I don't feel like we're overwhelming him, but I'm kind of letting him lead it and decide and stuff. So
Well, I think that. Well, before I forget, you'll both get one of these. Our
yay!
Oklahoma Movie Stream T-shirt.
Look at this.
And
Thank you so much. That's so exciting.
yeah, and you're doing a lot of things with social media now too. You're doing a lot of comedy and
Yeah.
started a lot of your social media sites, and we will have the special pretty soon. It'll be
Yay.
available in a lot of places, and we'll keep everyone up to date to that. And in the meantime, just look for you. How can they go to the sites to find out where you'll be performing?
Yeah, just go to Nicole Miller Comedy on about any social media site, and I try to update my shows for the month and try to be funny there too, so you can get a laugh and then figure out how you can come see me.
Yeah, you need to check her out. Frequently, she's putting up different little videos or little anecdotes of things you thought of that day, and I really enjoy seeing those. They're really cute and funny, and so look for Nicole Miller and JJ. Obviously, look for him as well. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Cut.